Hello everybody, this is TurboDog702 with Castlevania Judgment, story mode with cutscenes. This one is going to be on Simon. So Castlevania Judgment is a fighting game that was released on the Wii. It's an okay fighting game. A lot of people hate it and they think it's terrible, but I think it's actually an okay fighting game. The issue is just there's so many good fighting games out there, like actually solidly good, that people forget how bad fighting games have been in like the late 80s through the 90s as well. But this is an okay one. And it's got some funny things inside the story mode, so it's something that can be tossed in as a nice little comedy block thing or something a little different. Nice little fun romp. So, unlike some of the other characters that I've shown for this game for story mode, Simon is kind of a peculiar character. He does a lot of damage and has a lot of options available to him. And because of this, he kind of has to mix up his combat a little bit more than some of the other characters in the course of the speedrun.
Right on time. Welcome to the
One of the biggest things is that he doesn't really get off his attacks super quick, but they control a lot of space, have really good hitboxes, and he can close distance and establish range really well.
But first, there are many trials you must pass.
So the basic concept behind this game's systems is it has an attack, a jump, a sub-weapon button, a special attack modifier button, block, a roll, and a block breaker. We aren't going to really get to see the block breaker, but Simon actually has a pretty decent one. So one of the big things for this is off of a launcher we can jump cancel, or basically add a double jump out of an attack launcher. This can be really useful for adding on extra damage with Simon, as you can see there. Unfortunately, he blocked one too few attacks, and because of this I have a little bit of a sloppy Aeon. Wasn't able to finish him off immediately. But you can really see how badly Simon could maul somebody if they allow him to get a single hit.
The road is now open. Search for
So you'll notice that we don't have a sub-weapon when we start the game. In order to get sub-weapons, you need to pick them up inside the game proper. Sub-weapons are randomized when you pick them up, and you won't know what it is until you actually pick up the sub-weapon. For the purposes of this, we're trying to look for Holy Water or Cross as our best options. Cross allows us to control enemies inside of blockchains, and allows us to extend some combos. Holy Water can be used for the same thing, but can also facilitate the use of supers. Carmilla's a little bit dangerous. Unlike most short-range characters, she doesn't have a very fast attack, but a lot of her moves slide around the stage, so you can lose a lot of time if she gets going and just runs out of your range and becomes a nuisance. For the purposes of this, I'm intending to take an RTA approach to the game. For arcade runs of this game, we use in-game time. One of the big changes for that is you tend to want to use supers inside of the arcade mode for in-game time, because when you land a super, in-game time stops. So supers gain a lot of value compared to RTA, where their lengthy animations can sometimes be an issue. Shinoa is a rough character in that she has a lot of options at different ranges. Her dash is very fast and makes her completely invincible during it for the most part. Also, she can be very flaily, like a lot of her moves occupy a lot of space and can be problematic. And you're kind of seeing that right here. So I pick up a sub-weapon there, and it's unfortunately the Scythe, which doesn't give us too much out of it. But it's better to have a sub-weapon than not have one, just for applying extra pressure. And we have our story battle here.
The Belmont Whip? I ask you, show me the power of a true vampire hunter.
Pardon the lady, but I will not fight a woman.
Do not underestimate me. I am Sypha Belnades, a hunter of the church.
Sypha? One of the legendary three warriors?
Come, face me.
Ready? Fight!
So nice little extended jump combo there to get a nice little start on her health.
Try again.
So Simon also has quite a few gimmicks that he can use, a couple of which are nice against the computer, but really fighting games are all about kind of manipulating the AI in order to perform well. So a lot of the best gimmicks that he has aren't really effective against a computer that doesn't think and respond to them.
Witness the power of the Belmont clan.
So Eric can be a kind of a difficult opponent in that once he gets going, he tends to pressure you very hard, and like Shinoa, he is not afraid to just kind of attack randomly. So that can really break your rhythm a lot of the time. So normally inside the stage there's supposed to be a lot of sides and spike trap hazards. We are currently playing this on easy, which reduces the enemy HP, and we can reduce the round time as well to a single round. That makes it so that fights go by very quickly, even for a marathon. When you're talking about real practiced attempts where you're trying to PB, you reset very aggressively in arcade mode. Story mode I'm less serious about. It's just kind of a novelty for me to show off to people. But I do try to put together decent runs for them as well. So this is kind of a PvE encounter where we need to kill zombies. The other option is mermen can spawn, but in this arena we get zombies. Once we clear out all the zombies, we'll fight a larger enemy at the end of it, which in this case is going to be the Iron Gladiator. This is a nice place to pick up an extra sub-weapon and some extra hearts as well. Unfortunately, our sub-weapon that we picked up was the knife, which doesn't really get us much mileage on this.
He who wields this whip is not
Simon doesn't do as well as some characters inside of that fight. He can kill enemies very quickly with his single combo, but he doesn't really have an AoE that can kill multiple zombies super efficiently. So that is one of his downsides for this.
That the vampire killer?
Are you Grant Dynasty?
Oh, you know who I am. Must have got pretty famous, huh?
Has Trevor come here as well?
Ah, what? So it's him you're after. I ain't telling you nothing.
You will not stand in my way.
So Grant has kind of an odd thing about him where he does have a couple of quick attacks that he can challenge you with. But more importantly, a lot of his attacks slide along the ground and gain him a lot of distance, such as that. So if he wants to, he can be really annoying and kind of run away from you very efficiently. His low profiling to the ground can also make it difficult to hit him against certain attacks. In this case, I burned a super meter just to catch him and get him out of the way, because he's starting to give me problems inside of this attempt, so I just want to get him out of the way. Certain enemies, you would still burn a super if you felt like they were going to give you problems, or if they were just a difficult enemy for you to deal with in general. But you really would want for an RTA to try to avoid supers if possible.
One of the legendary three warriors. A worthy adversary indeed.
I have no choice.
So Alucard's kind of a rough fight in that his attacks are some of the faster ones in the game, and he has pretty decent reach. So he combines one of the best things about close range characters and his single attack speed with medium attack. He also has a lot of really good pressure strings using Summon Spirit into continued offense, has good ways to close distance, just a very, very strong, well-rounded character. About the only thing he lacks is a good block breaker. He tends to be the character of choice for speedruns.
To prove myself a true Belmont, even legends must fall before.
Ideally, we would want to use combos that keep the opponents standing so that we could continue to attack them. Otherwise, when they're on the ground, being on the ground means we can't do extra damage to the opponent. However, most characters don't really have a way to keep an opponent standing while dealing large quantities of damage. Alucard can do such, which is why he's such a strong character. Cornell is another character that can get really out of control if you let him. He has a very fast close attack. He has a teleport on his dash that he can use to run away very efficiently. And if he activates his Berserker mode, then he can waste a lot of time or do a lot of damage to you. Actually becomes a kill risk at that point. Luckily, we were able to control him really well using the cross to amplify our offense. But as you can see right here, he's using that dash to really give me issues in finishing the fight.
I can't lose. The vampire killer will cleave your soul. Trevor Belmont?
I see. If you know me, you must be my descendant.
In my time, you are only a legend. I must defeat you to become a true Belmont.
And you must prove yourself worthy of my whip. Show me!
So Trevor is another kind of rough fight, another close-range enemy that has a slightly faster attack that allows him to stop you at the beginning of fights or possibly near the beginning of combos. However, using meaties can really help out with this. Attacks as they're coming off the ground is the term for a meaty. Since he's such a difficult fight and can cause a lot of trouble if he gets going, we decide to burn a super here in order to just get him out of the way. And that's going to lead us into Aeon and the Time Reaper.
That is the power of a Belmont. Finally, I have my answer. My power is more than just this whip.
Right on time. You must be the chosen one.
I have gained the knowledge I sought. So what are you truly after?
We are trapped here by a common foe. We must escape.
It is plain you speak the truth. Is there a way out?
When all the souls imprisoned here are brought together, they will open the door leading to our enemy.
So our path is clear.
Which leads to our final dilemma. The door will allow only a single being to enter.
I understand. So now we must see who is worthy of the task.
That is my desire.
Alright, so Aeon can be problematic in that he has some quick attacks when they start to come out. He also has a parry that can break your momentum pretty well. This stage allows you to sometimes get ring outs relatively well, but it just depends on what type of pattern you get, how far they allow you to extend your combos over to the cliff.
Time to lose.
Leave the rest to me. You may look on from there.
So Simon actually has a pretty strong combo against the Time Reaper compared to a lot of other characters. He's able to pressure him really well using that forward neutral slam combo that I've been using into this kind of whip tornado thing. Allows him to have a lot of pressure against the phases of this fight. Time Reaper is on a pattern for what he does on certain phases, but once he reaches certain life thresholds, he will do something predetermined as well. So I have a couple of input errors which don't get me as much damage as I would want during that phase. But this laser is pretty dangerous. You have to roll through it, and timing can be a little strict. I actually really pushed the pace on the second laser here and end up getting hit by it because I wanted to try to finish him before it came out. Now he's in his final health phase. He uses an explosion and then spawns the laser. And I tried to finish him here with damage, and had I just been a little bit quicker, I probably would have done so, but instead I had to take the laser at the end. Still a really decent fight for Simon against the Time Reaper. Should be noted that a lot of these splits are based on splits for all of the characters in story mode. I just kind of keep a rolling tracker. So some of this time loss can simply be because some of the story segments take longer to complete than others. More talking, things of that nature. But that's going to do it for Castlevania Judgment story mode with cutscenes for Simon. I'll be producing more of these videos just to show off different characters and give options for potential bid wars. You could also do another option for having an arcade run at the end just to show off what that's like. But that's going to do it for me. This is TurboDog702. Hopefully I will see you at another marathon. Thank you for watching.